I'm joined today by Shannon Boyle, Executive Director of New Ground. Shannon Boyle, thank you for joining me today. With nearly 18 years with this amazing agency, New Ground, tirelessly supporting those less fortunate, you always inspire me, Shannon.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much for having me with you today. I'm really excited to be here.
New Ground was founded in 1991. It's been providing support for homeless veterans and families on Long Island in a very local and palpable way. Shannon, can you please tell us how New Ground got started and what its mission is at heart?
New Ground was started in 1991, as you said. Actually, we're approaching our 30th anniversary, which is exciting, daunting, and somewhat depressing that we're still needed after all these years. But we began when our founder, Sister Máiréad Barret, was living in a homeless shelter as a support staff worker. And she was there to help the families as they came in to find another job, get some money saved up, find a home, and move out. And while she was there, she noticed that there was a real cycle. There was a real pattern where families were coming back in the door after 6 months, 9 months of being out of the shelter. Something would happen and the same family would end up right back in the same circumstance. And it was because nothing significant had really changed. They hadn't increased their education. They hadn't increased their ability to earn a livable wage. They didn't have a greater support network in place. They didn't have a savings. All of those things that would really help them find housing and be able to stabilize it. So she created New Ground and the mission to break the cycle of homelessness. And originally it was for families. And just a year or two later, we started working with veterans as well.
What are some of the programs that you're offering now to the families?
We offer our three main programs. Our family programs include the Jumpstart program, which is for actively homeless families. And we have a long-term housing program, which is small at this point, but we're growing it. That actually includes housing and our support services. And then our veterans program, which serves any veteran household that's homeless or in danger of becoming homeless in the near future. And so for all of the families and veterans that we're working with, we're providing key services around financial literacy, education, career development, and helping them really address all of the barriers and issues that are preventing them from being successful and living independent lives. We help them outline their goals, and then we help them achieve those goals in key areas that will allow them to successfully move on from New Ground and be able to afford and maintain permanent, stable housing.
How do families take advantage of the programs?
So we have primary social workers on staff and our associate program director that are working directly with our veterans and families. Every family and veteran in the program has a primary social worker that's their main point of contact at New Ground. But we do work as a team. So, for example, our associate program director oversees the Jumpstart program and all of our education services. So she'll be involved in meetings with all families and veterans when there's an education component that needs attention. Families and veterans find us through many different ways. We work in direct partnership with various shelters, homeless family and veteran shelters. We also receive referrals directly from the Department of Social Services and their homeless intervention unit. And we work directly with the supportive housing program at the Northport VA.
So, I mean, with the extraordinary numbers of people at this particular point in time needing service, how do you manage those numbers?
It's a lot of juggling. We're trying to avoid wait lists for services, if at all possible. We've been creative, certainly over the past 9 months since the COVID pandemic and the economic downturn. We've had much greater need for basic needs, especially with homeless families on Long Island, food, even safety needs, gloves and masks and hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes, all of those things. We've been trying to deploy supplies to everybody to the best that we can. So our services are all remote at this time. We're doing a lot of video conferencing and delivering goods to our families and veterans. But we've had some great supporters step up and help us fill our conference room with food and much needed PPE supplies, so then we can get them out.
Shannon, can you share one story regarding a family that has benefited by the services of New Ground and the impact that it had on them?
Absolutely. Because I've been here for 18 years, I have many stories, which is a blessing to be a part of the work and the lives of those that we've helped. Certainly, I think one story comes to mind where we were working with a single mom with two boys, and she became homeless because her job downsized. She lost her income. She tried desperately to find new employment, but she couldn't. And so she ended up falling behind on rent and being evicted from her apartment and ending up in a shelter. And she was referred to New Ground. We brought her in and had a series of meetings with her to talk about the services that we provide and how we help. And she signed up immediately for the program, and she worked with us for about 4.5 years. She was very, very motivated to really make a change for herself and her boys. She went back to school. She obtained finished her associate's degree and then her bachelor's degree while with New Ground. And she was also working during that time. She made sure that her boys were doing really well in school. She had them participating in our reading program and our tutoring services so that she made sure they were also going to graduate high school and be on track for a positive future. She worked tremendously hard on her financial situation. She had huge bills and debts when she came into our program, and her credit score was in the low 500s. So she worked really intensely with her social worker on a weekly basis to track what was her income coming in and what were her bills, and how could she decrease her bills, how could she adjust her bills to pay them at different times in the month so that she could spread out her income to the best of her ability. And then each year when she received her tax refund, she worked with her social worker at New Ground to strategize how to best spend that money that came in a lump sum to pay off her debts slowly, step by step, so that her credit score would improve. And when she moved out of our program and into a market rent apartment, her credit score was 767, and she was beyond proud. She had her bachelor's degree and she had a new career, and her boys were on track. Yeah, doing well in school.
Very gratifying. Very, very gratifying.
You're watching Opportunity Calls with Ellen Volpe, presented by ABA, American Business Associates. To learn more about ABA, visit aba-ny.com.